of you had an injury that caused you to be limited with your mobility? Now imagine this injury lingering as you're walking to campus all day, every day. That is what some people here at the College of Wooster have to deal with. Students and faculty members with injuries and disabilities struggle to get to campus on a day-to-day basis, and the college must do something about it. First, I will talk to you what the problem is. Then, I will talk to you about what my solution is and how it will work. And finally, I will talk to you about what the future could be if we implemented my solution. So what is the problem? Students and faculty members with injuries and disabilities have trouble getting to school during the school day. Let me explain. For such a small school, we have a relatively large campus. According to usnews.com, the College of Wooster has 240 acres of land, which is comparable to a lot of Division I schools. A page on the Princeton Review website says that Northwestern University, which is a Big Ten Division I school, also has 240 acres of land. So as you can see, the students at the College of Wooster have a lot of room to walk around, especially from the dorms to the academic portion of campus. In an interview on November 6, 2011, with Trent Dunn, Ian Vernier, and Brendan Taylor, I asked them to count their steps from the front of Born-Heater Hall to the front of Calc Hall. After they walked to and from, they averaged over 700 steps. Now this may not seem like a tough task for a healthy person, but for someone with a walking disability or for someone who might be using crutches, this could be a tough test of their abilities. For example, in a personal interview on November 7th, 2011 with Mike Moore, I found out that he dislocated his knee over the summer and had to use crutches for the first part of the semester. He estimated that it took him twice as long to get to class when he was using crutches. Another example is sophomore football player Richard Barnes. Richard broke his ankle in a game and was put in a walking boot and on crutches. In a personal interview on November 4th, 2011, Richard said, quote, "My injury really affected my ability to get to class on time, especially with a big backpack full of books." So how serious of a problem is this? Well, people with injuries is a very big problem. It prevents healing, and it can make the injury even worse. People with permanent physical handicaps also have a problem with this because they might not want to go to class because it's such a struggle to get there. And if they don't have good attendance, that means bad grades for them. The weather is also an issue here. For those of you out-of-staters, Ohio is miserable here in the winter with all the snow and ice that we get. Could you imagine walking on campus through 6 inches of ice and snow on an injured ankle? So why should you all care about this issue? Well, first of all, you never know what could happen to you. You could be in a car accident and break a bone in your leg. You could be walking on the sidewalk and trip over yourself and twist your ankle. You just don't know what can happen. The College of Wooster should also be concerned through a liability issue. Liability here is a tough subject. I talked to Sheila Wilson, who is the Director of Purchasing and Contracts here at the College of Wooster, in a personal interview on November 9th, 2011. She said that the college can be liable for injuries on campus, but it really depends on the situation. Let's say someone with a walking disability is trying to get to class, and they stumbled and tragically broke their neck. The college could be liable and could be sued for thousands and thousands of dollars because of this. Now, even if the evidence did come back and say that the college wasn't liable, it's still a miserable headache that the administration should not have to deal with. An instance like this was on November 4th, or was with Dr. Margaret Wick, who I interviewed on November 4th, 2011. A few years back, Dr. Wick was walking to class and slipped on a patch of ice, hurting her head and her back. Luckily, she was not severely injured, but the point is still there. The college could be responsible for injuries on campus. And the college as a whole should be concerned about this issue because we pride ourselves on being a diverse campus. How can we say that we embrace diversity when we can't provide transportation for those who truly need it? So what can be done? My idea is to implement a golf cart system where we take injured and disabled students and faculty members to and from their classes. Well, what do I mean? We would have two-person golf carts that would be at academic buildings and at Lowry at specific times during the week, Monday through Friday. The schedule would start at 7:50 in the morning at Lowry, where they would take the students to their classes at 8. This pattern, where 10 minutes before the hour, a golf cart would be in front of Lowry up until 2:50 p.m. There would also be a cart in front of each academic building 5 minutes before the hour, starting at 8:55 a.m. and concluding at 3:55 p.m. But who would the drivers be? Well, this would be an excellent opportunity for students to get involved in work study by driving students around. How will my plan fix this problem? Well, it will provide a more happy and fun-loving place for students with injuries and disabilities. They will be able to get to class on time and stay for the scheduled amount of time. They won't have to worry about trekking through the snow. Students with injuries will be able to heal quicker and not worry about being re-injured. And the college will not have to worry about the liability issue. How do I know this will work? Well, there are other schools that do the same kind of thing. The examples are The Ohio State University and the University of Akron. They have buses that take students all over their campus. And that is not just the injured and disabled students. That is the entire student body. If colleges with thousands and thousands of students can transport their kids all over campus, why can't we transport the people that really need it most? You might be asking, isn't this going to cost a lot of money? Well, in a personal interview with Linda Hans on November 8th, I found out that we have a lot of golf carts here, but they are being used. So we would have to buy golf carts for this to work. They cost typically between $4,000 and $5,000. Now let's say for my plan we were to buy 10. That would only cost $50,000, which sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much money. We would also have to factor in the gas costs. A typical gas tank for a golf cart holds 7 gallons and gets 32 miles per gallon. Now let's estimate that the carts need to get filled up every 2 weeks at $3.50 per gallon. That would cost less than $250. Now the number for all 10 carts, by the way. Now this number could change depending on the gas prices and how often we actually use the golf carts, but it still shows that gas would not be that big of an issue. You also might be asking, why wouldn't security be driving the students around? Well, first of all, we would have to hire more security officers, which would cost the school more money. In an interview on November 8th, 2011, with Security Chief Steve Glick, I found out that the average security officer makes $12.50 per hour. This is $5 more than it would cost to employ a student for this job. You also might be asking, why wouldn't you use airport-style golf carts that can transport more people? Well, this would be a lot more time-consuming for the driver and for the students trying to figure out where they want to go and who needs to go where. There would be a rush and confusion, and it could be very dangerous for the students in the golf cart as well as the students walking around campus. So let's visualize what would happen if my plan was implemented. The students in the golf carts would be happy, waving to us as they walk by on the carts. They would be happy because they're not being physically stressed out with their bodies. They're happy because they're on time for class and they're getting good grades. The injured students are happy because they're healing quicker. Now, what if my idea got shot down by the administration? We would still see the same students and faculty members with injuries and disabilities moping to school, hobbling there, struggling, being late as usual. Students would be getting bad grades and having low self-esteem. So what can you all do to help? I'm not asking you guys for money. I'm not asking you guys for support. I'm asking you to talk this idea out with your friends. Let them know what my plan is and how I want to implement it. We can make a difference here at the College of Wooster, and by helping the injured and disabled students, we can become a more diverse and welcoming community. Any questions? Any questions?
would prevent the students from stealing these golf carts or joyriding?
Okay, he asked what would prevent the students from stealing the golf carts. Well, they would be employed with the college through the work-study program, so if they did steal it, they would be in a lot of trouble. Okay.
Did you explore what it would cost to have electric golf carts rather than gas?
He asked if I explored what it would cost for electric golf carts, and no, I did not. I'm sorry. Yes?
How would you ensure that other students walking on campus, like in the middle of winter, wouldn't get in the way of the golf carts or get hit by the golf carts? Would there be certain paths or something for the golf carts to take?
She asked, would the other students walking around campus have a worry about getting hit? We could implement like a light on top of the golf carts or a horn that would let students know that the golf carts are coming. I think is a good idea. But does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, I was just wondering because students are covering all the pathways and wouldn't it make it harder for the golf carts to get here to get the students to class on time?
Yeah, it would, but if we had a horn and a light just signaling kind of to get out of the way, I think it would work well.
Will the golf carts like have like all-terrain wheels for like the snow? Because I know like a lot of the time when people are going to use it, it's going to be like 7 in the morning when like the snow hasn't even been gotten off the paths yet. Won't there be a problem with like golf carts slipping on the ice?
Well, I've never been here for the winter on the College of Worcester campus, but I'm hoping that the pathways are semi-cleaned off before.
Not all of them.
Not always, okay. Well, in that case, we could research some more information and figure out a way to work that out. So, thank you.